Okay, we're on to part 2 of creating a new book cover for an old book to give away as a gift. And I have my book cloth here, and I'm painting on the glue. You do the same thing that you did with the cover of the book. Just get a nice even layer on there, good around the edges. If you want to use some recycled paper behind the back as you're gluing so that you're not gluing over your surface, go ahead and do that. And you don't necessarily have to use book cloth on your project. You can just use just a regular fabric. You could use like quilting fabrics or whatever you have. Something cotton or linen probably would work best. And it will take longer to dry just because it's not paper backed like the book cloth is. So, you go ahead and take that. And I start with the front, and I center it on there. Try to get it pretty evenly centered. You can measure if you'd like. Of course, that's always an option. And then try not to get any glue onto the actual cloth on the front because typically it'll show right through. And then go ahead and use your bone folder to get it into that crease. And over the spine. And you'll want to measure this first before you put it on and when you're cutting it out to cover the spine and then have about an 1.5 inches overlap onto the front cover and onto the back cover. And it's really okay if it's not perfect. Don't worry about stuff like that because it's a handmade gift, and that is part of the beauty of handmade. It's going to have little imperfections that remind people that, hey, this is a handmade or hand-covered book, which is really nice, I think, and it just shows a little more thought and love that was put into the end product. So go ahead and smooth that out really well with your bone folder. Get that glue to really adhere. Okay, and then folding in the edges. Because this book was pre-bound, typically you do the cover before you even put in the pages. But since we're doing the book this way, you just need to make a cut right at where the end paper that's already in there meets the spine so that you can flip in this center part into the inside of the book. And in fact, you might want it a little shorter in the middle. So I'll go ahead and cut that a little better. And then you take that and you flip it right under there. So it's probably a little harder to see because you're farther away, but just get it in there. Take your bone folder and try and smush it in there. And if you don't have a bone folder, you could use scissors for this part. Just get the tip to push in the edges. You might need to pull out the pages a little. And just get the tip in there and smooth it in. And sometimes you just have to work with it. And then the other edge you can go ahead and put right over the original end papers. So everything past that snip. do the other side. And take your bone folder, push that on really well. Make sure that glue is holding it really nicely. If you do get glue onto your fabric or your book cloth, wait for it to dry and then peel it off. Don't rub it in because then it will, when it dries, it'll look really, it'll look like you've got a spot of glue on there. And if it's just a little bit, or if you do accidentally push it in, go ahead and get a damp cloth and try and get that fixed. Okay, so you just figure out where the end papers are glued and not. Go ahead and make your snips again for this side. And then push that in. Use that bone folder, make sure it gets down there. Really well pressed in. My glue is drying fast, so I need a little bit more. And fold those over onto the edge. That has the book, or the end papers. And this side as well. This isn't too bad. This isn't too hard. And it's pretty fun, I would think. If you enjoy crafts, then you're probably having a ball. Okay, and there you go. You have the cover all finished, and the next video will just be showing you how to put in the end papers. So I will see you in a minute.